Hi, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how churches and Christians can get started in disaster relief efforts, in particular, some of the resources available on christianvolunteering.org. Really, there's four situations where churches and Christians can find themselves related to disaster relief. One is where your church has actually been struck by disaster, your communities have been struck by disaster. The second is where you're wanting to help out with another community. The third is, really this is the optimal where you're preparing for disasters in advance rather than just reacting to them. And then the fourth is where Christians might want to get certified or trained specifically in how to respond to disasters. So I'm going to cover all four of these and some of the resources on christianvolunteering.org that can help you. So one of the first things that you can do is go to christianvolunteering.org's disaster relief webpage, which is at christianvolunteering.org, disasterrelief.jsp. And whenever you go to that site, you'll find that we have a wiki. And this wiki is kind of like Wikipedia, but what we've done is collected some of the best resources out there for Christian organizations. We have several hundred resources, and your church can learn what other people have done. No reason to reinvent the wheel. And we have, Southern Baptist, Nazarene, United Methodist have all prepared manuals to help churches respond to disasters. So this is just an example of a manual that you can get linked through the website. So step one is let's try not to reinvent the wheel, and let's learn from others. Step two is going to be to identify members of your congregation with helpful expertise. So we've talked with a number of churches who've responded effectively to disasters, and it's often the EMTs, the doctors, the counselors, and especially people with construction experience who can serve as foremen with other volunteers. And that's the second step. And the third step is to partner with national Christian disaster relief organizations, local organizations, and other churches to become a local relief site. Some of the best church responses we've seen have often partnered with national organizations like Samaritan's Purse, World Vision, Salvation Army, and often those organizations are looking for a church to host to be a relief site. And one of the ways that you can find that is by going to christianvolunteering.org, and you can search for the organizations that are on the site. And there's two ways you can do that. One, you can click on the organizations tab in the wiki on our website. The other is that you can go through and do a search at the top. But what you can do is you can find all the organizations nationally, and you might say, who we really should be partnering with might be the Salvation Army, or some other Samaritan's Purse, and you can connect with them. And what we've done is we've cataloged all the major Christian organizations that you can partner with. So then the next step that churches would do is to identify church members and others affected by disasters and to post their needs. And you can keep this just internally within your church, but often it can be helpful to post those needs. And the way you can do that on our disaster relief website, again, you can click on a link that says Post Disaster Relief Needs, and then you'll come to a page that looks like this, where people can just go and post their own volunteer opportunities. They'll need to enter email address, password, and then just very quickly post a one-line summary of the need and posting the detailed description, requirements, and contact information. So what this might look like is it might be someone who says, my house has been flooded and I need someone to come help clean out the basement. And then it would put this, what we have is we have a directory of all the disaster relief opportunities. ChristianVolunteering.org has over 10,000 volunteer opportunities around the country. We get close to 1 million visitors who come to the site, and a lot of Christian organizations and other churches can find your opportunities there. If you want a faster way to do that, say your church has 30 or 40 needs and you want a faster way, we've actually provided a link where you can go directly and paste your needs and volunteer opportunities in a Google spreadsheet rather than posting them one at a time. And then the last area is to organize teams to respond to needs. So you can use our website to help you in doing that, or you can use, a lot of churches will use spreadsheets and other things. So that's what to do if your church is in the middle of, ground zero for a disaster. There's a lot of churches who will hear about a disaster and they want to help out. So there again, there's several steps you can do. First, you identify the opportunities in the organizations that are out there meeting the needs. Then you can contact them and then make announcements. So the way you can do all of that on christianvolunteering.org is you go to the christianvolunteering.org disaster relief website, and you can just do a search of all the disaster relief volunteer opportunities, and you'll find out, this is right after Hurricane Sandy happened, and there's a lot of, we have, 43 volunteer opportunities. Most of them are related to Hurricane Sandy, but this is a way that different Christian organizations can find needs, and you might say, I want to help out with this Hurricane Sandy relief in Brooklyn, and then you can go and click on I want to help. That'll connect you with the organizer. Sometimes they'll have their organization and their contact information printed directly in the description. So this is Coney Island Gospel Assembly, and you can contact the pastor directly there. So that's what you can do if you are a church wanting to help out with another disaster. The real thing you want to try to do is make sure your church is ready for whenever disaster strikes. So the best way to do that is to go through the manuals on our website. I'd already shown you some of the links to the best manuals. Southern Baptist, there's Church World Service, Christian Emergency Network have all prepared anywhere from 50 to 100 page manuals. But then the next step is to create a disaster response committee and a plan. Work out a plan for how to respond to a disaster for your church. And most of those manuals will have templates that you can use for that. What most churches, their plan includes encouraging members to have disaster kits with supplies for 3 days, especially, often there's a loss of water, food, heat, and electricity that might be, they say to have up to 3 days. But the other thing you can do is to catalog key members of your congregation with helpful expertise. Again, the needs are in emergency services, medical counseling, and construction. One of the ways you can do that is they can actually post their profiles on christianvolunteering.org, where they can list their skills, their resumes, and their LinkedIn profiles, and then you can have access to their profiles on the website. The fourth area where you can help is if you are an individual and you want to volunteer, one of the best things you can do is you can get certified. So there's a lot of resources out there. FEMA is one of the best resources out there. Red Cross has great resources. A lot of these are self-study online, and then you can take tests. It's kind of like getting certified for CPR. You can get certified for responding to disasters. And then there's a lot of really good Christian certification courses. So Salvation Army has disaster relief training. Ready Christian from the Christian Emergency Network has some great training. United Methodist has some great training, and you can go on our website and use all of those resources. So if you want to contact us or want more information, you can contact us at info@christianvolunteering.org. Thanks a lot.